It's Fireside Baseball. That's Sam, that's Ryan, I'm Chris, and we're here to answer only one question. We'll start with Ryan. Is Bryce Harper elite?
Bryce Harper is currently not an elite baseball player.
Okay.
I think at this point in time, I think he's coming off of a 3.5 win season on Fangraphs, roughly similar territory on Baseball Reference. Would it shock me if he put up an elite season? No. Do I currently believe that's his median or expected outcome? Also, no. So I'm going to have to go not elite at the moment.
Sam, where are you at? Is Bryce Harper elite?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. We've kind of seen a drastic drop off from him year over year. Right here, like his like last year, I think it was 131 WRC plus. Like the years prior, it was 150, 145, 140. You're seeing like a steady decline. He's also playing first base, where you're just clearly just not going to get as much value compared to when he signed the original deal with the Phillies and was playing right field and was going to put up more F4. But as a first baseman, you're not bringing as much value to the table. Like it sucks to admit, but you see it around the league. So at this point in time, I do not think that he is an elite baseball player. I think he is a very, very good baseball player, maybe a great baseball player on his day. But is he an elite baseball player? I do not think so.
All right, that was a perfect early response. I don't know if you guys know too much about my background. I grew up in like a theater household, and so now we're gonna do like a theater exercise. I didn't tell you guys we're gonna do this. We're gonna do a theater exercise. Now I'm gonna ask you the same exact question, but I want you to enter this like you are the GM of the Phillies. All right? Is Bryce Harper elite? GM Ryan.
Bryce Harper has done awesome things for the city of Philadelphia. He is a future Hall of Famer. He is the heart and soul of this ball club. When we signed him to that 13-year deal, we envisioned winning a World Series championship, and we know he is dedicated just as much as we are to bringing a title to Philadelphia.
Sam, it's your turn. GM Sam.
I don't think I could say it any better. I think that legitimately, like that is, you don't come out there and say that.
Yeah.
Like, and this is months ago, and it's going to be a thing that gets harped on for like till the end of time, probably with Harper. But like, dude, you don't say that as the general manager of an organization.
I agree. And this is resurfacing because Bryce Harper has now publicly spoken about Dave Dombrowski's comments, basically saying he's not elite. And to Bryce Harper, the quote is, "That's a wild take." Bryce Harper's done a lot for this sport. Bryce Harper is one of the legendary figures from our generation of baseball, and we're not used to comments being said by a GM of a specific team that superstar is on, no matter what part of their career they are in any sport. Like, in no point did the Broncos GM say, "Yeah, Peyton Manning's not elite." At no point did, like as players get older in other sports, like no one will ever say, "Oh, LeBron's not elite." And not say that Bryce Harper is either of those two players, but he's someone who was widely considered a superstar in this era. And now the Phillies just got out of the Nick Castellanos weird situation that was like pretty publicly ugly. And now we've got Bryce Harper as we head into March talking about I don't understand why those comments are being said. And I guess I want kind of both of your takes on that, because I do fault Dave Dombrowski for saying something. I think Bryce Harper bringing it up and saying it's a distraction he feels now is him kind of reopening this wound. And I'm not quite sure how to feel about the entire thing.
I think when it comes to his comments, look, Dave Dombrowski isn't wrong. It doesn't mean you should say it. And if we want to talk about not elite, kind of challenging people publicly in your organization, why don't we talk about Dave Dombrowski's body of work this offseason?
Ooh.
He brought in Adolis Garcia, who has not been an above-average hitter in each of the last 2 seasons, to replace Max Kepler, who wasn't a good hitter, took steroids during the season, and still wasn't a good hitter. Great move by Dave Dombrowski. Nick Castellanos, you said, got released, right, from a $100 million contract that he signed while also signing another DH who couldn't really play right field, and Kyle Schwarber. And Nick Castellanos has been an up-and-down player throughout his career. Let's talk about Ranger Suarez, who left because the Phillies don't have really any money to give to the rotation because they're not too far into a horrendous contract handed out to Aaron Nola, who was immediately one of the worst pitchers in baseball. Taijuan Walker on a $60 million contract when he was also not an above-average starting pitcher with the New York Mets. JT Realmuto signed to instantly one of the worst contracts of the offseason. His cleanup hitter is Alec Boehm. His fifth hitter is Brandon Marsh. His sixth hitter is Adolis Garcia. This team is incredibly underwhelming. So we can talk about Bryce Harper not being elite anymore, but I know Bryce Harper is better at his job than Dave Dombrowski has been at his job over the last 365 days. If we're going to do public comments about who's elite, who's not elite, who's this, who's that, Dave Dombrowski, your team sucks. It's not a Dave. Your team isn't good. Bryce Harper is one of the only reasons why people are going to go watch your team. When you're going to get great ticket sales, as you do every single year in Citizens Bank Park, it'll be because of Bryce Harper, not because of Adolis Garcia or because of JT Realmuto in his age 35 season or Bryson Stott. What a disaster of a first-round pick, by the way. Just has not worked out for the Phillies the way that it should have worked out. This is just like, I think it's so fascinating to see a GM come out and say that, because I know how he would act if Bryce Harper or any player dared to challenge the idea that Dombrowski was doing his job properly.
I don't know how you follow that up, Sam. He just snapped. He just cooked. That's like
you just ate that boy up. The one thing that I will say about the whole Harper situation, and like we kind of talked about it pre-show, like he's kind of on this like media tour press run, just kind of like harping on the fact that like this is, it's a weird comment that's made by general manager, and Ryan kind of just destroyed Dave Dombrowski. But if you're Bryce Harper and you look at this organization as a whole, when he signed with the Phillies, that was not a good baseball team. Like they were not. It was clearly a project that was going to get started up, and he was going to be the centerpiece. And then they end up bringing in all these different bodies. I know that Nick Castellanos was a far different player when he signed that deal. They bring in Schwarber, all the money that they've kind of thrown at Trey Turner, like that kind of stuff. This is an organization right now that, hey, Ryan's mentioned it multiple times. We're not super high on that team. We don't necessarily know if they're going to be great to even compete in their division. When they got to the World Series in 22, maybe that was their peak. Maybe that was like, hey, like this is as far as we can get with this group. That's pretty much it. They haven't done too much to improve from that group of players. And if you're Bryce Harper, you're 33 years old. You sign this mega deal. You are the heart and soul of this Philadelphia team. You're kind of at the point where it's like, hey, man, when do I get mine? When do I get my World Series ring? Why do we keep falling short, right? So for him to continuously harp on these comments says to me, hey, listen, I'm not happy with this organization whatsoever, because it is odd, right? That he's continuing to spam this comment that was made 2-3 months ago. He is probably looking at these other organizations that are trying to get better and are improving their rosters year over year to try to win a title, and he doesn't see the Phillies doing that. So he's looking at them and said, hey, you can't come out here and make these comments about me, and we're continuously putting out the same roster year over year that A, won't compete for a World Series title, but then B, will not compete for the division. Like, they're not the best team in their division. And I think all three of us can acknowledge that.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're Bryce Harper, you're probably pissed that this team is not better and you cannot compete. So, yeah, of course he's going to continue to harp on it and keep finding negatives.
Bryce Harper's better than me, because at this point I would have been like, my bank account says I'm elite. So I don't like you said I was elite when you wrote these checks. So like cool, like your best player's not elite. That's on you, GM. My bank account says I'm elite. So I would have been on straight bullshit, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
He's also getting paid $25.4 million a year in his contract. It's not like his contract's a detriment. They've been getting incredible value back on this deal and will likely continue to. Let's say Bryce Harper is a 3 to 4 win player for the next 4 to 5 years. Like he's a very good, he's a good, very good first baseman, not an elite player. I would pay $25.4 million a year for that kind of production. Are you kidding me?
Making what, $4 million more than Luis Robert Jr. and I think he's making what, $4 million more than Trent Grisham. Like, yeah, that's
he's making less than. I mean, how many? He's making less than a lot of first basemen that are like. I don't think Pete Alonso is going to be a better player than Harper on a year-to-year basis. I actually think in the next
33, like
yeah,
not 33,
and he got $150 million. I mean, I don't see this understanding, or I don't see why the Phillies or that organization isn't more appreciative of the fact that this guy took. I mean, this is one of the best contracts ever signed for a megastar. It's a great contract. You love getting a superstar kind of player who is in his decline years, yeah, on a very cheap deal relative to where we're at right now.
Here is Drake. I just possibly. I just have one more note that I do want to throw out there real quick. If Andrew Friedman came out and said that Freddie Freeman was not elite, what would your guys' reaction to that be?
Shut up.
Freddie Freeman in 25 was a 3. He wasn't even a 4-win player last year with a 139 WRC plus. He was like a small step better than Bryce Harper was last year, and he makes more money than Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
So if you look at those two players, Just compare it to another organization and how they treat that star, right? Because when you look at the two players, it's super similar. Granted, Freeman is like a very small step up, but if we said that, we're ludicrous, right? But Harper is right there with Freddie Freeman, and that is
That's a great point.
unreal.
That's
Look,
a great point.
if you had a 4-year-old daughter, right? And I like Call of Duty. I think it's a great video game. I'm not gonna tell my 4-year-old daughter I love playing Call of Duty. It plays and she should play it because it's a great game. It serves nobody. You're no one. It's the truth. Nobody benefits from it. Look, let me get everybody in on a dirty secret here. Anyone who's ever lived any life experience, if you tell the truth about literally every single thing you feel about things, likely going to get fired from places. Probably going to have some really difficult times connecting with people. If we told the truth about every little thing to every person we came across, it'd be really hard to live in this society. So I don't understand what Dave Dombrowski thought was going to happen from this, and he's kind of reaping what he sowed, right?
I mean, this is kind of a truth teller show, right? Because Aaron Judge, to switch topics, had some really candid comments about kind of the Yankees offseason. And it was a lot about, I was kind of waiting around thinking, okay, what are we doing? Are we going to sign somebody? It was frustrating to then go on and say that they had a good offseason. I guess I'm going to start with Sam because I already know Ryan's thoughts on this. Thoughts on captain of the New York Yankees, kind of speaking about the front office super candidly.
I think it's interesting. I will say I know that a lot of the guys that have come into the organization over the past couple of years, he has been big advocates for. The largest one being like a Paul Goldschmidt. I know that him and Goldie have been buddies for like a long time. But
yeah.
I mean, it's interesting to me because the Yankees have upped their payroll this year. They're the third highest payroll in Major League Baseball. It's a 350. This isn't even a figure that I think that any of us would have thought they would have ended up at, because they spent the whole offseason talking about the 301 mark and not getting past that, and not wanting to pay too much over the tax, that kind of stuff. They're updating payroll every year. So like, while I do get that it can be frustrating, and it was a frustrating offseason for us as fans, they had a very clear objective this offseason as far as what they needed to do, how they needed to improve, and just to make the roster better. I think that at the end of the day, they did do a good job with that by bringing back Bellinger and essentially doing the run it back Yankees thing. I think that that's cool. But for Aaron Judge to say this to the media is super loud, because you don't necessarily hear the captain of the New York Yankees coming out and saying, hey, this was really pissing me off that we weren't spending any money. Because then you look at, in contrast to it, they asked Stanton the same question yesterday. And he was kind of like, like, I was checking in, just kind of seeing what was going on, but I definitely wasn't frustrated. So like, there's clearly a different definition there of the two interpretations of the Yankees offseason. So Judge did end that by saying that like he liked what they did, but it's like, it's this is Aaron Judge we're talking about.
Yeah,
kind of talking shit.
I will say this, and this might be a maturity thing, and I've talked a little bit about Aaron Judge to Ryan. What I think it's funny because Giancarlo Stanton might have a better sense of like what to say in those moments, because like if you're Aaron Judge, you're saying these things about like, yeah, I was frustrated, but you also don't want it to be a slight to the guys in the clubhouse that you have, right? You don't want to be like, okay, like
true.
These guys aren't good enough. What are we doing? For Giancarlo, I think he's like super aware of that, and also Giancarlo, I think, feels like every year they've had the best team. They just haven't got it done. I mean, especially 2024 when they lost the World Series. I mean, it wasn't the Dodgers were better. Oh, the Dodgers spent money. It's like we just lost. I mean, even after they beat the Guardians, they were celebrating. It was like, no, like we are the big fish here. Like, yeah, we're the Yankees. So I think there is kind of that element of it a little bit. But again, a lot of candid answers so far this offseason, the spring training.
Yeah, and I will say I do appreciate Judge being candid in the sense that it kind of, as as a Yankee fan, it kind of gets a little boring when you see the media scrums and it's the same repeated answer. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I understand why, but it's cool to get a little bit of spice in there, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think the comments were antagonistic. I think a lot of people ran with the first part of that and completely forgot the last part where he goes, "Yeah, I'm glad they ran it back." And the part where after they lost in Game 4 of the division series, he goes straight to the media and tells them, I want Grisham back. I want Bellinger back. Deadpan doesn't put if, ands, or buts, says, I want those two guys back. He got those two guys back. Captain's happy. Yankees are happy. We'll see what they end up doing this year.
Bingo. Just like that. All right, just real quick. Better as a prospect, and this might be more of a Ryan question. Better as a prospect alone, Roman Anthony or Connor Griffin?
I'll say Connor Griffin because he plays a premium position.
Okay. Me and Sam been talking about it. We talked about it before we got on here. Connor Griffin's going to break camp with them as a starting shortstop, right?
Yeah.
Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
You would think so.
What would be a successful season for that kid? He's getting all the hype, man. I don't know if you saw the Fangraphs write-up on him. It's kind of crazy.
I think a successful season for Connor Griffin is league average offense, league average defense, and let the legs kind of work. Because if he's essentially league average on offense, 100 OPS plus, and a solid shortstop, a defensive shortstop, he's going to be like a 2.5 to 3 win player. Remember, shortstops are not usually above average hitters, and it's a tough defensive position. Also would like to point to fellow superstar prospect at one point, Bobby Witt Jr., who struggled defensively his first year and then took massive leaps. Connor Griffin is a ridiculous talent. He's got incredible feel for the defensive position. He's an incredible runner, great power, really good feel for making contact in zone, considering how much power he has. I don't think the successful outcome for him is superstar in year one. It's just, hey, looks like a solid ball player.
And I think that that's perfectly okay for a prospect to come up that breaks camp, right? Like if you are
19 years old.
like you're at 19 years old and you're a league average defender, league average bat, and like you can blaze. Like I think that that's perfectly okay as like a median outcome, right? Like you shouldn't look at these sorts of players and think like, hey, like when he comes up, he's going to be the greatest ever, right? Because that's like what like 99th percentile outcome.
But once someone gets number one prospect ranking, I think that's what we expect, right? Like.
Yeah.
Like if you talk to Boston fans about Roman Anthony, like that is Mickey Mantle. Like he's here.
But I think that organization's a good example too, because on the flip side, the guy who was hyped almost as much as he was going into that year, Christian Campbell, was a below average baseball player last year.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Chris Campbell was the first one up of the Super Three. He was the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he broke camp with them.
Issuing some caution, I guess, there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that like that's a fine median outcome, and you'll just like see it play out over the next 3 years because we've seen these top prospects flame out. It's like prospects are prospects until they are full-time big league players that have cemented themselves into the league. And at 19 years old, I'm not expecting you to come up and be Bobby Witt immediately. I'm not expecting that out of you. But if you can provide me something and just show me a little bit of a glimpse of what you can be over the next, 5 or 6 years during your arbitration years, I think that that's fine for him. And you know what we just did, Chris? We made Ryan talk about the Pirates again.
That was the only goal. We talked about it before. We just want and look, the Pirates to me feel like the excitement I have is like I liked watching the A's a year ago. I have that kind of bubbling excitement a little bit, but it's almost like the reverse A's, right? Like the A's had all the bats done of the pitching. The Pirates have a ton of pitching, and they're starting to get some bats in there, or at least they have young, exciting pitching. I like Jared Jones a lot. He's going to start the year, obviously, on the 60-day IL. I like Bubba Chandler a lot. Part of that is because I'm so happy that he burned Dabo Sweeney. I hate Dabo Sweeney by choosing the Pirates over the Clemson Tigers. Because I don't know if you guys know, he was a 4-star quarterback.
Yes.
He was a very widely regarded quarterback prospect, and that was when I covered high school and college athletics for a while. So I thought that was amazing because I hate Dabo. And then we got the Connor Griffin kid. So look, me and Sam are in on the Pirates. He's got the orange, the yellow lenses in there. Just that's for the Pirates.
Go Buckers, baby. It's a squad, brother. That's genuinely that's a team that I'm going to watch like super intently this year. And just be super excited when they're good.
The A's were must-watch young bats last year.
Yeah,
shout out Nick Kurtz, and now it's the Pirates. And all of this, can I just like transition to small market a little bit? That draft is actually so funny to look at. Like that. So that draft had Connor Griffin, had Nick Kurtz in it too. Caglione was in there. Condon was in there. And the number one overall pick, Bizana, we don't know if he's going to start in AAA or AA. Like nobody knows.
Yeah, you and I talked about that the other day, like kind of at length. And that was like what do you like? I think that you were saying that like they took him because of the slot money. Like he was a second baseman that went.
He made the least out of the top 5. It took him as a slot money, and he didn't want to.
Second baseman that went number 1 overall. Like you draft shortstops. Like you consistently draft shortstops because you draft pure athletes. If you're drafted as a second baseman, there's going to be a lot of questions about what you are as a number 1 overall pick. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. I will also say this in regard to Griffin, kind of that class in general. I think the White Sox are going to be a team that kind of looks back and goes, "Oh my God, what did we do?" Because I don't know how I feel about how they ended up in that draft, at least in the first round there. And then in regards to Griffin, if Connor Griffin breaks out the way that he could and ends up having that, let's say 20% better than league average offensive season and plays a good shortstop, and he's obviously a really good base runner. I don't think that's going to be I don't think that's going to change the big leagues. If Connor Griffin's good in year one, I think the Pirates are going to win a playoff series.
Ooh, there it is.
Oh, we're here.
There it is.
If he's good, they'll win a playoff series.
I knew it was coming. I knew that it was coming.
Here's the situation it'll land in. Ready? They're going to face they're going to face a division winner. It won't be one of the wild card teams. It'll be like they'll be the last team to get in, right? Like, and they'll face.
I need. Keep going, but then I'm gonna stop you. I need you to do the thing for them.
They'll play the Cubs. They're going to go to Wrigley. And, it's the Pirates are a pathetic franchise in the last 20 years. The Cubs have a recent World Series championship. They're the Cubs. They're a bigger market team. And in 2 games, the Pirates are going to keep that place completely silent. You won't have a single moment of noise or anything. And the Pirates are going to go play the Dodgers, and they're actually going to compete with them in a division series. That's my prediction. That if Griffin plays well, if he doesn't play well, playoffs aren't happening. If they do, they're going to get to the postseason.
You know what I
wanted? Around.
I wanted Skeens game 1, Chandler game 2. Your season's over. That's what I was.
Oh yeah, that's essentially what I'm implying here. Chandler will be the game 2 starter.
That's just so bar.
And
such a bar, dude. I'm doing a callback to your Detroit bar.
And the biggest deal here will be that Mitch Keller won a playoff series. Shout out Mitch Keller. It's my guy. Always going to be my guy. He does not know who I am. I've never met the guy. I'm a Mitch Keller guy through and through.
We've been talking about Mitch Keller for years.
Absolutely.
Realistically, like we've been sprinkling Mitch Keller for years. Like, that would be so fun. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. Isn't it pretty?
Buckers winning a playoff series?
It's pretty we can say pretty confidently, if you have a competent major league offense, Paul Skeens on the mound, game win. Like, you put a W next to that, right? Like, Paul Skeens pitches against unless it's the Dodgers. If it's the Cubs are good, don't get me wrong, but he pitches against the Cubs in game 1 of a wild card series. All right, Pirates won. Cool, great. On to game 2. Can the Cubs come back down 0-1 is really the question I have at that point.
I mean, what is it? PCA is going to lead the Cubs in WAR this year.
Probably. And I like PCA a lot. Like, I'm a big fan of his game. He's a really good defensive player at a premium position, but Connor Griffin has a chance to be a superstar. Connor Griffin has a chance to be a game-changing Bobby Witt Jr. kind of player. We saw what Bobby Witt Jr. did for a Royals team who's similar to the Pirates. Not a lot of power, not a lot of offense, but a great pitching staff. They found a way to get to the postseason. They beat the Orioles. This is kind of what I was thinking of here. I thought of like Cole Reagan's, what he did in that wild card round against the Orioles. Stunned everybody. We thought we were going to get Baltimore, New York. Instead, we get KC in New York. And KC did give the Yankees a fight. Like, they gave a pennant-winning team a fight. I think the 2024 Royals and the 2026 Pirates, there's a world where that ends up happening.
Yeah, and it's also, Chris, I do want to shout out something that you said on a notebook. It was like, hey, like, if the Pirates get to that point at the end of the year, like, Skeens could totally pull a CC and just start like every 3 days and just rip and like get them into the postseason. And I could see it like 110% happening. And it just
lines up too perfectly, right? Like, Paul Skeens and the Pirates both know that this is not a long-term thing. And so the Pirates are going to do everything they can to milk everything they can out of Paul Skeens. And also, Paul Skeens is so hyper-competitive that he'd be the guy to go on short rest a couple times down the stretch to make the playoffs. Like, I'm ready, and I'm not ready for it. Obviously, opening day is almost here, but like the final month of the year, you're looking at the Pirates like, okay, 4 games back, 2 months left. What do we got? How many of these are Skeens days? Because they're not invested in the long-term future. But in that draft class, you got Bazzano up. It should be up this year. Chase Burns, who I like Chase Burns a lot. I do. I think he's got a lot of work to do. Condon has not been up. Kurtz obviously is a superstar, and then the White Sox, Hagen Smith. That's someone that you're kind of worried about a little bit, Ryan.
Yeah, I don't think Hagen Smith is. I think Hagen Smith is in like I think he's in kind of charity top 100 slot mode. You're gonna see him at like 90 or 80, and it's like, yeah, you're a top pick. We're just holding out and praying that you can actually throw strikes. He can't. So
well, it's him and Charlie Condon are the two that feel the furthest away, right?
At least Condon, like, he plays for the Rockies, which is a bad thing, yes, but for a hitter, like, it doesn't have to actually be that polished of a hitter to make it work.
He just struggled at single A so much, I thought, initially.
Yeah, and I will say in Double A, picked it up, hit for some power. Again, there's a lot of swing and miss here, but it's Colorado. That's neutralized a little bit. Hagen Smith, it's like, dude, you can't throw strikes. I don't know what to I don't know what else to say. He's the 2-pitch pitcher who can't throw strikes. I can't sign up for that as a starter.
Can't sign up for that. But shout out the White Sox. I don't know if you guys saw this. Steve Cohen's quote. I got asked about the Dodgers. Steve Cohen does a thing where he like flexes, but like, don't you know that we can see you kind of thing? They have the ability to spend. So do I, by the way. Steve Cohen's bravado confuses me. Is it just me here? Because I think he's a good owner, generally speaking. I think they committed to spending a lot of money. I get confused by the comments because it feels like internally he wants everybody to know he's rich, and we already know.
Yeah, it's a weird flex. I think is kind of the biggest point that like the thing that I would kind of point to outside of signing Juan Soto and kind of plucking him off the market and paying him X amount of money. Is there a free agent that Steve Cohen has signed and has spent, a ridiculous amount of money on that we're like, wow, the Mets just got their guy that's nuts? Not via the trade market. I'm not talking about them trading for Peralta or like maybe Bichette kind of falls into that category.
Yeah, I mean, like Soto, Bichette in back-to-back years, to me is a flex in and of itself, I guess.
It is, but when you look at the situation, it was because they lost out on Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
Like they lost out on Kyle Tucker, and then your instant pivot was, okay, I have this cash. Let me go do this, right? Yeah. It's like if Hal Steinbrenner came out last year and was talking about them and the amount of money that they spent on Fried and everybody else that they brought in last offseason to then like replace the Soto money. Like, hey, man, we get it that you can spend money. I totally understand that. I get that you have a very high payroll. But this is also a team that missed the postseason last year. So, like, if you can spend that money, let's go out there and put a product out there that can, get to the postseason, win a postseason series. What is the play here? If you want to sit here and flex and chirp to the media and just honestly, it's a larger distraction when your owner talks like this and then it gets backed up by a product on the field that hasn't won a ton. Like that is super frustrating. It's probably super frustrating for Mets fans that are like, hey, we've spent all this money, but there's no ring for it. There isn't a World Series appearance to show for it. I think that there are brighter days ahead for the Mets. I think that we can all kind of agree on that, and they will be a good team in the future, and they will probably claw their way there at some point in time. But to talk like that, and there hasn't been a lot of success over the past 5 years that you've been an owner, it's a little disappointing.
I think with the Mets, I've been very positive on their offseason. I really do. But the one thing I really found stunning was the fact that he chose to be public about the Kyle Tucker stuff and like the cheeky little tweet. And it's like, oh, who cares? No, players, agents, front off, like they care about that. That's your image, right? It's funny because I'm dressed up right now. But how you dress, right? When you walk into an interview, if you show up in a hoodie and sweatpants, don't tell me, well, I'm the most qualified person here. Yeah, everyone in the room clocked the way you dress and the way you present yourself. Steve Cohen, the way that you talk, the way that you present yourself publicly does matter. And this is a guy who said in 2020, I have the quote right here, but if I don't win a World Series in the next 3 to 5 years, I would like to make it sooner. Then obviously I would consider that slightly disappointing. It's been 5 years. In year 5, he missed the postseason. He has more missed postseasons than he does postseason appearances. He has 2 playoff series wins in his time as owner of the New York Mets. That's not good enough, right? Like the organization he wanted to model himself after was the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Los Angeles Dodgers were not known as the broken, unbelievably unfair team that people perceived them as when he bought the team. He oversaw the Mets as the Dodgers ascended from good franchise to unstoppable 90s Yankees-esque dynastic. So that happened under his watch in the same National League that he's a part of. He has all this money. Great, cool, awesome. I think he's a good owner, as Chris noted, but you failed on your promise. And if I told a Met fan, yeah, I know you guys got Steve Cohen and you're going to get Juan, so like some really good things are going to happen. But here's if I showed a Met fan what the next 5 years of Met baseball looked like in 2020, they'd go, dude, really? Like that's really? So yeah, you should probably stop trying to do the whole, well, I could spend 2, by the way. Win a championship. They got 3 in your time. You got 0. Yeah. Not even a World Series appearance. 0.
I guess I don't need you aura farming when we can pull your file. Like I don't need you aura farming when there is a dynasty that's like right there. I just don't need it.
The quote. Stop trying to drop the New York Post headlining quote. Go win a title, right? Like it's kind of it's funny because I don't think he doesn't have the same off-field controversies to the extent that George did, but it's a little George Steinbrenner-esque where he's trying to be a personality as well. And it's like the whole, I'm a big Met fan. And then it comes out from the Athletic, who's actually kind of a Yankee fan, which is, it's like, dude, no one needs the bravado. You just sign the checks. Nobody goes, oh man, I want Guggenheim Sports Group to give me a comment. They're like, oh, they signed Kyle Tucker. Great, cool. No one wants the bravado with it. The Yankees won once George Steinbrenner was suspended from baseball or banned for life and then got reinstated. But during those years, that's when the prospects came up. So like, you just stay out of it. Shut up. Just shut up and stay out of it. Log out of Twitter, make a burner, pull some KD, like make a burner, maybe make your little group
KD files, ball.
Look, if he wants to make a burner and put put his buddies in there and talk about how he thinks Mark
Smith is very smart.
Yeah, or that's a very nice way to put what he said. He
I've never read anything crazier. That shit is unbelievable.
Wants to talk about Mark Vientos being like the worst fielder he's ever seen, that's fine. If you want to talk about how much he hates the Dodgers, cool. Do it on a burner. Like, it's 2026, man. We got burners now. Like,
is Mark Vientos the Jabari Smith of the Mets? You need to stop a ball. You can't stop a ball.
This might be the first time this sentence has ever been put together, but if I had to bet on the player Steve Cohen is calling what's the right word to use here?
Uneducated, not very smart.
Yes,
useless.
Uneducated. Yeah. I would put money on Mark Vientos. Not because Mark Vientos is the worst player on that team, but because he just feels like he's a high strikeout, bad defense guy. It just feels like the kind of guy that 60-something-year-old rich guy screams about on his TV. I'd put money on that.
He'd probably talk about Pete Alonso like the same way KD talked about Sengun. Like that. I mean,
either him or Nimmo. I think the equivalent? It might be Nimmo.
What's the equivalent to what he called Russell Westbrook? The triple double.
Oh my goodness, dude! A cocaine bear, dude. That was a
okay. Maybe he can call Pete Alonso that because Pete Alonso's high energy in a home run derby.
That makes sense. Yeah,
I will never get over the fact that Pete Alonso was just going nuts after a kid tore his ACL in the outfield of the home run derby.
Oh my god.
Could you imagine being the kid whose knee exploded while Pete Alonso is head bopping like crazy at the batter's box?
Dude, you want his head on a platter. You probably hate that guy for life.
If I was boys with that dude and he showed up to like school he has to have the canes and like unfortunate, like obviously I'd feel bad for him, but I'd also definitely laugh at him. Like as a 12-year-old, like I'd be like, dude, you tore your ACL and Pete Alonso's laughing at you.
It's the perfect villain arc story for that kid.
Literally, bro.
That kid's gonna grow up to throw 98 miles per hour, and it's gonna be 38-year-old Pete Alonso who's getting booed at every ballpark. Got a 650 OPS on a $30 million contract, and he's gonna be on the mound. He's like, "Remember when you laughed at me? Here's 98. Dot.
No, he's not. No, Ryan, he's not dotting anything. He's hitting him. He's putting Pete Alonso on base. Like 98, dog. This is no longer about baseball. This is a weapon. Like I'm
There's a non-zero chance that kid could follow one of Fireside Baseball or Fireside Yankees or Fireside Mets. I hope he sees this. I hope he's motivated.
There's a real chance.
Yeah. I want him to reach out and tell us how his baseball career went. And if he's not playing baseball currently, get on the mound, kid. Get on the mound, bud. Let's go. Let's go work.
Yeah.
Let's go work.
We'll be your biggest fan. We will 100% be your biggest fan. We
Take
will
steroids. I don't care.
Because we don't cover. We don't cover we're really just like Major League Baseball. Like, dude, I will cover your entire collegiate career. I will cover your collegiate career.
We'll start the propaganda. We'll start it,
dude.
Do you want it bad enough, kid? Kid, do you want it bad enough? Like, how bad do you want it? Like, really? Like, this is your honor on the line. Like, do you want it that bad? Because like that just couldn't be me. Like, I'd want it that bad. I actually really sucked at baseball. I can't talk like that.
All right. Last thing I want to hit before we get out of here. How do you guys process spring training clips? So for me, obviously, we're all I'm a Yankees guy. Mm-hmm. The LaGrange stuff injected all into my veins. But also, when I watch other teams spring training clips, I get really, really excited. Do you guys pull too much away from that kind of thing? Or is it more just oh, this feels nice to finally have this back on my timeline?
I think it's super exciting to see, but there's also just important context that does get cut out. Like the LaGrange thing was really cool. Him dotting 102 points.
Oh yeah, I ignore all context.
Strike out Aaron Judge, right? But then the pitch before Big 99 rocked one 500 feet. So it's but nobody talks about that. You talk about the really cool moment that you saw. It's cool to see on the feed. Don't get me wrong, but you also look at these players with the expectation of what you're going to see in spring is not what you're going to see in the regular season. The guys that will hit 450 in spring training will rot in AAA all year and will hit 220 for the entirety of the season and will never see a major league roster. So, like, I think I put a small amount of stock into it. Obviously, you look at the prospects more as far as like, hey, like, here's what so-and-so can do, like, on the with a lot of the major league guys. Like, I think you put a little bit of stock into that, but like, I don't care what like Aaron Judge is doing on March 17th. I care what he's doing on March 25th. Like, I don't put a ton of stock into the big league players. The prospects are where it's like, okay, I'm going to care about this a little bit. And yeah, it's great because ball's back and we're like just seeing stuff and like people are throwing the ball around and hitting baseballs. Yeah, so it's exciting to that point. People do hype it up, I think, a little too much. However, there's a small amount of stock to put into it.
What about you, Ryan? And I have one quick trivia game to play with you guys.
Yeah, in terms of spring training, I think like velocity, how your shapes look, if there's a big leap in your exit velocity numbers, like those are things to definitely take stock in. But when it comes to results, I just want everyone at home to get a nice warning here. AL MVP Aaron Judge had a lower OPS and a higher strikeout rate during the Grapefruit League last year than Sam's favorite player, Andrew Velasquez. So just, it doesn't matter. It never matters. It doesn't matter. Don't. Your boy, if your favorite prospect's got a 700 OPS and he's hitting 180, don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. Let's just enjoy seeing baseball on your screen, and every time your team doesn't have an injury happen that day. Big squid, man.
That is so funny.
We got a quick game. As a team, I want to see if you guys can name me 5 of the top 10 in batting average last spring.
I know who. I think I know the leader. He was on the Rays. Curtis Mead. Curtis Mead's the leader. He led the Grapefruit League in batting average, right?
I'm looking at it. It's got Bo Bichette as the leader.
Oh, okay. I think I was only looking at Grapefruit League. I think.
Okay.
No, he's in the Grapefruit League.
Yeah, he's in the Grapefruit League. Yeah, because they're in
Is Curtis Mead not? Did Curtis Mead not lead?
Yeah, here's a deep cut. Deep cut. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Ismail
Mungia.
Yes.
Is he on there?
No, I don't have him on here.
Is Mead on there though? In any regard,
I don't need him in my top 10.
Damn.
Is this Grapefruit League or just all like?
This is just. I just went to the MLB
Did DeLuca?
spring training.
Okay.
Johnny DeLuca.
I don't have DeLuca.
Okay,
I was just sick in spring training last year.
Ooh, Bellinger
was really good.
He was sick outside the top 10 though.
Goldschmidt.
Yeah, he was. Goldie was really good. Was really good. Damn it! Why do I?
Damn, I'm not gonna be able to get this, bro. I'm not gonna be able to get this.
So, dude, I got number 2, Gage Workman.
Oh, I remember he had a big spring and he almost made the double-A. Oh no, he did make the double-A to big league jump. He was a Rule 5 pick.
Yeah, he made the jump. Brett Beatty, 3rd.
Oh my God,
okay.
Dude.
Okay. I remember he had a big spring too.
Randy Arozarena, 4th.
Okay. He's a good baseball player.
Jackson Holiday would have been my guess because I know he had a crazy spring last year.
He did.
Yeah. You know what?
Spring.
He did.
Tover, Clemens, Kerry Carpenter, and then Malloy.
Clemens, like Cody Clemens?
Yeah.
Right? And then Ezekiel Tovar, who had an 84 WRC plus last year?
Yep.
And then no.
Well, the worst batting average in all of spring training last year, Christian Campbell.
Well, mate, all right, listen, this is what I'm saying. Put a little bit, just a little bit of
what I will say with
and he made the opening day roster after doing
Do you have it pulled up, Ryan? Are you looking at this with me?
No, I'm not looking at it right now.
What else? You should, bro. Go look at the worst batting average. You got Christian Campbell up there, Frankie in there, Duran in there, and then Cal Raleigh in there.
Wow.
Cal, oh my goodness. Are you kidding me?
You know what? Fangraphs is a different qualification leaderboard. That's where I got messed up because Curtis Mead hit 524 last spring, according to them. And I don't think, I think
the MLB one's probably minimum at bats.
Yep. I think it is.
Probably.
And I think it doesn't have Mead on here in general.
That's why I was saying Ismail, bro, because I think Ismail was like,
yeah, dude.
Ismail was him, bro.
That was MLB ridiculous. Bottom 5. Oh, Ben Rice on here at 242.
Yeah, dude.
I remember Ben Rice had such bad luck, and I remember I was like, please do not look at his batting average. He's hitting the crap out of the ball. Ignore it. He's awesome. And we had Dom Smith DH talks in the big 2026, by the way.
That was
2025, sorry.
Dude,
I took
every Ben Rice hit sounded like a gunshot last year in spring training.
the home run, Ryan,
Yeah.
when you and I were sitting there
Dude,
watching, and he
that reaction though, like I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like that's just like that was genuine, man. Like that is one of the most F baseballs I've seen in person in quite some time.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
He went crazy. But that's all I got today, guys. Make sure you like and sub. New to the channel, be a friend, tell a friend. And also all the socials will be in the description below. That's Ryan. That's Sam. I'm Chris. Thanks for tuning into a full episode of Fireside Baseball. We will catch you guys soon.